males, American males. When you say that I'm coming, better run for cover. Girls, you don't need.
What's up, guys? Our wrestling podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious, along with Just the Total Package, Craig the British Bulldog, and Cuz, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Today's topic: what happened to Marcus Alexander Bagwell? For audio fans, give us a listen on audio, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. On social media, can you give Jess a coronary and follow us on Instagram or Twitter at O.W.P 2019 or on Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast? Cuz
and
Marcus,
Dave, a little
Alexander
side
Bagwell-
note.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Daily Motion. Daily Motion is our free side where we're just free.
Yep, and we're free
Just
having
over there.
fun watching videos. Absolutely.
Our wrestling
Because Buff Bagwell is your favorite wrestler, is what I heard. Is that right?
Correct.
Well, you know, he was American male, American male, American male, American male, American male.
It's the most haunting, greatest wrestling theme ever.
Yeah, it is pretty haunting.
I
I'd
love
be
it.
scared, like, if you walked into a house and saw empty.
I'm
you
so
hear
frightened of it, I love
American male upstairs. You're like, fuck.
Oh, Jeff is your friend. All right, let's jump right into it. Marcus Alexander Bagwell was born in 1970, July of the 10. He was an American professional
male.
wrestler, better known by his ring name Buff Bagwell. He is best known for his appearances with World Championship Wrestling, or WCW, from 1991.
Best known for his mother, Judy.
Judy was a sweetheart. To 2001, where he was a 5-time World Tag Team Champion. He trained under Steve
Wow.
Lawler. He debuted in 1990, working for the North Carolina Wrestling Fabulous Fabian. Wow.
Hey, what is
Fabulous
Fabulous Fabian? Like, what is
Fabulous
that
Fabian.
character?
I don't know.
Like, and he still has this horrible Southern. Like, he never got rid of his Southern thing. He's like, "I'm Fabian, guys.
Hey, y'all, I'm Fabulous Fabian.
Hey, who wants to get some barbecue? I'm Fabian. I'm
Oh,
fabulous."
Was he tired?
I really thought that was going to keep going
Sound like
for a
tired
while.
me
Just-
right
Me
there.
too.
Sometimes you just got to
I
shut
feel
up.
like we're
and watch
treading
the magic
lightly
happen.
because I'm like,
Like, what did he say?
Nobody
What
wants
do
to
you
touch
say?
that with a 10 minute
yeah,
cattle
because
prod
society
at
sucks
all.
today, so we have to be like,
You're like,
I don't know.
I'm not touching any of that.
So,
So,
what word did he say?
all right. And then he actually, in 91, he began wrestling with the Global Wrestling Federation as the Handsome Stranger, a gimmick suggested by Bill Eadie that saw Bagwell don a Lone Ranger style mask and hand out roses to the female fans. That actually is a pretty easy gimmick.
Wow.
So when I got my big, well, I
Genius.
didn't
Ahead of
get
his
my
time.
parents got my big, massive satellite dish in my house that you all
That's-
fondly remember.
I remember.
yeah.
I would get all these different areas. I started watching Global in the early 90s, and I saw the Handsome Stranger, and I saw the Patriot. I saw all those other characters. And so I just was later on, after Bagwell debuted for WCW, in some magazine I read that he was a Lonesome Stranger in GWF, and it blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, that's Buff Bagwell. Like, that's crazy.
Entering the ring area at this time at 237 pounds from Monte Carlo, the Handsome Stranger.
Well, before I was so rudely interrupted by that goofy ring announcer, what I was saying was, I came up here to grace you with my presence, and maybe I thought, maybe I could help the ratings by staying out here and helping you two boobs with the commentary.
Yeah, he was
Just
just like
didn't
this
realize.
muscular. Yeah, he's very fan favorite, just all oiled up and everything, and just like a Lone Ranger mask. Like that's
Wait, he was a fan favorite?
yes.
I would
Yeah.
hate that guy if I was a dude at a wrestling
The
show.
girls loved him. He should have been GWF.
That's why he was
Women
fan.
wrestling fans loved him.
Don't take that, Rose.
Hey, babe, you hurt my feelings, right?
Throw the rose away.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you better.
He didn't give
I
that.
would have
to
whooped
you.
his
I
ass
gave
if
it
he
to
didn't go to the ring.
You're
He's not
doing
even
every
handsome. Wrestling's
you're doing
fake.
every Jamie
Yeah.
Noble impersonation on
He's
the
not
internet,
even
right? That's what you're doing. Like that's
You know
that's
what's
Jamie,
fake,
that's
right,
Jamie
babe?
Noble through and through.
Oh shit!
Hey, don't do that.
Oh, you on the ride home. Oh, you like him?
And jealous.
You know how to fuck for you.
Of the Handsome Stranger in GWF, like it caused a relationship to break up.
That's a very insecure Jamie Noble right there. Is what that is.
If
I don't
Bagwell
know if that-
destroyed
I'll
relationship.
be straight. I don't know if that one's gonna make the cut. Though.
Oh. Oh,
that
man.
might have crossed some lines. I'm just,
We just play American Males over the audio during that part. Like,
Well, yeah.
It's gonna go like this: American male, American male.
Oh, you want an American male?
Because you know how women would men would be upset with Rick Rude, like anyone sexy like that would like.
I
the
think
insecure-
It happened.
yeah.
I think it happened with Rick Rude every night. I think
Yeah.
that happened.
Oh, you like that? Why don't you go be with him then?
Why don't you ask handsome stranger to take out the trash?
Why don't you have handsome stranger work 60 hours a week and pay your fucking bills? Why don't you ask handsome stranger?
Oh, handsome stranger, go pick up Brutus's dog shit.
Why is his name Brutus?
yeah.
Why don't you ask handsome stranger to let your mom live with us for 7 years?
Yeah.
Throw away the rose. It's all wilted. You got the rose 6 months ago. He ain't coming back for you.
You don't know that.
Except with me.
You don't know that. Yeah, you don't know that. Shit.
That probably never happened.
Yeah. We're off for a good start, by the way. Go ahead.
Maybe it did.
Buff Bagwell
I
charming his way.
gotta collect myself. In 1991, Bagwell, not Rude, was hired by the World Championship Wrestling Federation, where he wrestled under his full name, Marcus
WCW.
Alexander Bagwell. He made that debut on November 5th, and for the first couple of years, he was a pure babyface singles wrestler in the middle of a card and gaining experience against wrestlers like Terry Taylor, Arn Anderson, and Greg Valentine. Not bad company, by the way.
Respectable.
Buff Bagwell was fine.
He was fine. Dude,
He was a good
he did
hand.
well. Good hand. He did the job.
He had no problems with him. After he broke up my marriage. He gave my wife a rose.
He gave my wife the rose.
Wife a rose. You don't.
They said,
There
I
it is.
busted
There it
I
is.
busted her right on it.
I was like, we made good money together.
You stick
that rose
up
your ass,
young gun.
Wow. On the February 20th episode in 1983 of Saturday Night, Bagwell, not Arn Anderson, teamed up with Two Cold Scorpio and Steve Regal to defeat Scotty Flamingo, Tex Slazenger, and Shanghai Pierce in a 6-man tag team match. This would lead to the formation of a tag team called, or was it just a tag team of Bagwell and Scorpio? They didn't really have a name. It was just
No, but you know what? That's
Great
my.
tag team.
Remember the early 90s? We used to watch fucking Scorpio, and they were a
They're
good
great.
tag team. I
Dude,
like
Scorpio.
Scorpio and Bagwell a lot.
All I'm doing is explaining the rubber. Look at this. What is this? A double suplex? Double suplex is incredible. Oh my! What a move!
The team of Two Cold Scorpio and Marcus Alexander Bagwell. To say that these two young men are primed and ready is an understatement.
That's. I mean,
Yeah, they were fucking
there's a lot of good stuff in that combination. It makes a lot of sense. As a result of their success in the tag division, they quickly became contenders for the World Tag Team Championship. On October 23rd episode of Saturday Night, Bagwell and Scorpio defeated the Nasty Boys. That's a step
That's
up
why I first saw that.
to win the World Tag Team Championships, thus making Bagwell's first title win in the WCW. All right. On the May 28th episode of Worldwide, Bagwell formed a new tag team with the Patriot called Stars and Stripes. As they defeated Dick Slater and Chris Sullivan in their first matches in the team, they were quickly put in contention for the World Tag Team Championships and entered a feud with the champions. Pretty wonderful. I liked that one, by the way. This was a good tag team, too. Over those
Paul
titles
Roma
there.
and Paul Orndorff.
Yeah, Paul Roma and Orndorff is Pretty Wonderful. Love it. After losing to Pretty Wonderful in a title shot at Fall Brawl, Stars and Stripes defeated them in a rematch on the September 25th episode of Main Event to win the World Tag Team Championship. That is now
Excuse me.
titles for
Let me
Buff
stop
Bagwell.
you right there.
Yeah.
Why?
How do you not include Bagwell up there with the greatest tag wrestlers such as Bobby Eaton and Arn Anderson? Buff Bagwell building a tag team resume right here.
I swear to
Yeah,
God,
I'm
I was
just
just
saying.
thinking this. I remember how cool their tights looked as Stars and Stripes. Like how good he was with Two Cold Scorpio. Like there's more to come, but like you're right, Jess. Like
oh, yeah,
a
Best
good
tag team
hand, as
wrestler of
they
all
say.
time. Thank you.
So crafty. You can never count this man out.
Never.
Oh, look at this. The legal man is Roma. And he gets stuck. You have new Alexander Bagwell, the Patriot, the team of stars and stripes.
Let's end it right here. When they're right here.
I
I
always
take
think of
exception.
tag team when I think of Marcus Bagwell.
Good.
I mean, until he
Makes
wins
good
an
sense,
interview. Then.
Were you? You were a youngin at this time, cuz. But do you remember him during this time, or is this a little too early?
I remember him when he was with,
He wore their pants.
but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's when I first ever saw him.
It was like neon. They all like switch colors.
That's
Oh,
kind of
from
stuff.
when I remember him.
that's
what?
nice. That's
But-
sweet.
Yeah.
Would they come down to? Sorry, I'm
Mary-
sidetracked. Would they come down to Two Cold Scorpio's music when it was?
Yes.
Yeah, they would, wouldn't they?
Yeah. When he
they
was
would.
Scorpio, and yeah.
And so he didn't even get his own music at this point. And then Stars and Stripes, he probably came down to Stars and Stripes Forever or Patriots music, right?
I don't remember what their music were, but it was something
Stars
different.
and Stripes, Stars and Stripes, Stars and Stripes, Stars.
Scorpio and Bagwell. Scorpio and Bagwell. Scorpio and Bagwell. His whole career.
He's in the NWO. He's in
Guys,
the
I got an
NWO.
idea
He's
for my
in the
theme song.
NWO.
Here we go.
He's in
Ready?
the NWO.
Stars and
Well,
Stripes. Stars.
Wait, this is where you're
You
all
guys like
going.
it? You like
You're
it?
all, this is where you're all singing and dancing and having a good time. On the September 16th, 1995 episode of Saturday Night, Bagwell formed a tag team with Scotty Riggs called the
Yes.
American Males.
All right,
Scotty
stop
Riggs.
burning
Let
out
me
your
guess.
tag
Let
team
me guess. He
partners.
won the
Jesus.
fucking tag titles, Dave. Did they win the tag titles?
They defeated State Patrol in their debut
Nice.
match. The newly
State
formed team.
Patrol.
Was
Shut up.
that
Team, they
Farva
defeated
and-
Har-
State Patrol.
they defeated Harlem Heat to win the World Tag Team Championships.
No, they
That's
didn't.
pretty. That's
Greatest
pretty
tag wrestler of all time.
Oh, he thought Sherry was going to give him some help. And look at her. These two are lovesick. She melted in his arms. I'm sick to my stomach. Look at this. What's going on inside of the ring? What is going on here? I told you. We are live. The new tag team champion. I don't know if it's official or not. Who cares? They put the belt on the line, baby. Wow. Yeah, but there's no contract signed as far as I know. What difference does that make? This was a match against a man.
Wait, so what was Scotty Riggs and I'm sorry if we already said it. What was Scotty Riggs and Bart Bagwell's team name?
American Males.
American man.
Yeah, I know.
American.
And what was
Yeah,
their theme
yeah.
song?
American man.
Yeah, I know.
American
geez.
That's the greatest song of all
Yeah,
time.
this is where
The
this
greatest
is
of
where
all
it gets,
time.
a little more interesting. Of all time. On the November 25th, 1996 episode, Bagwell joined the New World Order.
He's in the
Downhill
NWO.
from
He's
here.
in the NWO.
after
He's
turning
in
on
the-
his partner Scotty Riggs.
New World Order.
He soon renamed himself to Buff Bagwell and formed a tag team with Scott Norton called Vicious and Delicious.
I love
that's-
Vicious and Delicious.
All right, so
That's
can we
vicious and
pause
racist.
right here for a second? All
If-
these
if you
changes.
like.
Why?
Fish and
Is
delicious.
it Bagwell?
I
Is
mean,
it the office?
No, it's
Is
not
he
his
burning
choice.
out? Where
Come on.
where are these changes coming from? Why?
Do you
is
really
there no
think that
consistency?
Bagwell has a say in it right now?
I think he does.
He totally
Or unless
does if he
someone's
has
like,
the
I'm not
same
working with
beat
him
for every song.
anymore. Yeah, if he controls the music.
He's like, I just want
Yeah,
this,
sure- I'm
this
sure he does.
melody to get over.
He's like, I gotta find the
Just
right
as
partner,
melody.
man. I've been through 6, but it's not my fault. It's their
He
fault.
hasn't even had his own theme music yet, right?
Scotty
Until
Riggs
American
can't
Male.
go. Too Cold can't go. I need to find someone that can go. Patriot couldn't go. God damn it! I'm Buff Bagwell.
God damn. Hey, Norton,
Scotty
come
Riggs,
here.
by the way, is the first wrestler ever to take the first ever Van Terminator from Rob Van Dam.
Is
Yep.
that right? Nice.
Well,
I didn't know that.
It was at the pay-per-view.
that's
Anarchy
com-
Rules.
That's completely out of
Oh, you know,
context. Let's continue.
gotta get
No,
a
but
context
that's a
for
tough
Scotty Riggs.
discussion backstage, though. You're gonna do what? Like,
What?
so my trashing goes on my head, and then what?
And then you're
Where are you
jump
gonna kick me
all the
from?
way across the-
Wait, the other side of the ring? No. All right, fuck it.
Oh, that's right.
Congratulations, we have another derailment on the O.W.P. Welcome.
Another derailment.
Welcome,
American
welcome, to our,
derailment.
welcome to our world.
Another derailment.
American derailment. American derailment.
It's an O.W.P. derailment that happens every fucking week, apparently.
Oh, shit.
All right. Vicious and Delicious. To go along with his name change, he developed the habits of flexing his muscles and would
Yeah.
talk to the camera, insulting his opponents while complimenting
that?
himself. That's fair. No.
and giving
No,
out
the
roses
NWO.
to women.
First time ever to do that.
He also competed for New Japan Pro Wrestling as part of NWO Japan and the New Japan Pro
Really?
Wrestling version of the NWO there. When he returned to America, he began a feud with Lex Luger. You like that? Which later saw Bagwell defeat him at Starrcade in 1997.
Rick Steiner's dog collar, wasn't it? I hope it wasn't. Did you look at this? It knocked Luger right out. He's going to roll Bagwell over. New World Order trying to make a statement right here. And now he tries to wake up Billy Silverman, and Silverman, 1, 2, no, believe it. Another fluke win for Bagwell over Luger.
On the April 22nd, 1998 edition of Thunder, Bagwell wrestled a tag team match with Scott Norton, representing the NWO, against Rick Steiner and Lex Luger, which they won when Scott Steiner interfered on his behalf. Just before that, however, Rick attempted his diving bulldog finishing move, which was not executed correctly and resulted in Bagwell's head striking Steiner's back, jamming his neck and severely injuring.
This was
Fans, we are back. You don't like to see this, regardless if it's a member of the NWO or a member of WCW. Buff Bagwell apparently is severely hurt here.
He's conscious, though.
Our trainer is out. Bagwell, Scott Steiner tried to roll Bagwell up on top of his brother, Rick Steiner, and Bagwell was really could only get the arm up for the pin, and the medical attendants are here and right now to check out with Buff Bagwell.
probably one of the first live injuries I think I've seen on TV. Like, it was live because Thunder was live at the time, and legitimately, like, he laid there and people were like, something's fucked up. This was brutal. And it was a year after Austin's injury. So like, we saw Austin get injured on pay-per-view, and then a year later, I mean, like, he hit the Bulldog and you saw Bagwell just go limp. And then like Scott was like, or Rick, sorry, was like, holy shit. Scott Steiner still comes down there because he's supposed to interfere. And he was like, I think he hit someone really hard.
I was gonna say, did he kick him?
And it was whole thing. They stretching him out on TV and
laughing,
everything.
but you haven't read the last line. You're gonna feel really bad about it.
No!
Bagwell was diagnosed with severe damage vertebrae and developed spinal shock, which led him to use a wheelchair and neck brace for the next couple of months.
I don't feel bad. You want to know why? Because they milked that fucking injury forever on the storyline. Every fucking pay-per-view for like 7 months straight.
Yes.
Bagwell they actually reenacted it too and made it look like he fucking went paralyzed again, and then Steiner like turned on Rick or some bullshit. Like, it was weird. Like, they milked that injury forever. So no. Nay,
you don't feel bad. All right. In June of '99, Bagwell engaged in a rivalry with WCW President Ric Flair and Vice President Roddy Piper. Wow, that's fun.
Wait, what?
I
See, I don't remember that.
This is what we're talking about. After claiming he was being held back, this led to a 3-round boxing match with Piper at Bash of the Beach, which saw Bagwell victorious.
Oh, okay.
What is Piper and doing boxing matches?
You want a box match?
I
Every
want
time.
you want to
box me tonight?
What'd you say? You disagree? You want a box man? Like, everything, every time.
I'm vice president, man. I'm a heartbeat away from the office of the land, man.
If he dies, he dies.
What?
If he dies, he dies.
Bagwell then feuded with Diamond Dallas Page after he made allegations about Page's wife Kimberly. Having spent much of '99 feuding with older wrestlers, Bagwell was one of the first to join Eric Bischoff's New Blood Alliance, forming a tag team with Shane.
He's been around 10 years. He's
both
new blood.
He's new blood.
He's New Blood. And Shane Douglas is like the oldest young guy ever, apparently, as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay, now
Franchise.
I'm starting to.
Franchise. Shane Douglas came a long way. I don't want to derail this again, but that's a hell of a story.
I liked him, man. I did.
It's
I
another
love Shane
episode
Douglas,
we should do
right?
too.
Yeah, Shane
What
Douglas
happened
would
to
be a
Shane
great episode. That's a
Oh, Dave, read this next line so you can cement his legacy as the greatest tag wrestler of all time.
Bagwell and Douglas eventually won the World Tag Team Championship with Ric Flair and Lex Luger,
I'm done.
giving
That's
Bagwell
right.
his
That's why
fifth
Flair said,
World Tag
"Red
Team
Bull
title
time."
reign and rekindling his feud from Luger from 2
Buff
years ago.
Bagwell.
He beat Lex Luger again, and then by the way, Ric Flair
next
was
Luger.
in that
Telling you.
involvement.
That's Luger
Just
passing
say.
the torch right there.
USA.
Yeah. Luger passing. More like a matchstick.
Whoa. But we're
I'll
forgetting.
pass the
I think
mirror
what's
to you.
being missed in this is how good Buff Bagwell was with comedy stuff. Like there's
He
the
was
whole
fucking
thing
funny.
about faking injury with the Steiner stuff and the hat, and he was very, very
He was.
charismatic.
He
Like
also knew how to
Without a doubt.
like when Scott Steiner was trying to figure out like his character or whatever, he knew how to highlight him.
yes,
Like he would always run down and put his hands on Scott's shoulders and play peekaboo behind him for the hard camera. And then Scott Norton, who had no personality at all, he
Dude.
somehow made Scott Norton shine. Like he would flex in front of him and Norton would laugh or whatever. And Luger would do the same thing when he had Luger like as a partner. Like Bagwell always knew how to kind of like, he never tried to steal
No.
the show. He was always like,
But
a
he
partner.
was a
Like,
showman.
Yeah.
He was a showman.
Greatest tag team wrestler of all time. What am I doing here?
Honestly,
honestly,
like I
you're
said,
not wrong, Jess. I'm
that's
warming
why I
up
always
to it.
think of tag team. Buff Bagwell. Every time I think of it.
Yeah,
You have to.
Shortly,
People are gonna watch this
shortly
and be like, "Fucking just an idiot." Fuck, did you really think that?
And then everyone's gonna go watch it.
No, I think it's
Be like,
fair.
I do because you think so. Yes.
I
he
think
was
the
during the
facts are here.
'90s. Like he really, really was. Like
Makes sense. Well, let's talk about it. Shortly after WCW was purchased by the World Wrestling Federation in March of 2001, Bagwell was one of the first AOL Time Warner contracted wrestlers to accept the offered buyout on his
which
contract.
good for him because not a lot of people
Yep.
did it. So
Yep.
good that he
Yep.
did.
Mhm.
Right? At least
Yep,
he
he
tried. And
In July of
I
2001,
wish,
Bagwell
man.
would face off with Booker T at a house show and made his WWF televised debut on the July 2nd episode of Raw is War, facing Booker T for the WCW Championship. Not a bad way to start. The match was a no contest after interference.
That's a
between
little
Booker
harsh.
T. Boston and Kurt Angle. Many consider this to be the worst Monday Night Raw match of all time. That's rough. Is that really his fault?
No.
what'd you say, Jess?
After making several
Brutal.
appearances with
Bad.
NWA, Total Nonstop Action, now Impact Wrestling in 02 and 03, he didn't say anything. Bagwell
Whoa.
returned to TNA on the April 27, 2006 episode of Impact as the first of Sting's possible tag team
Wow.
partners
So he just left after that and went to
on
Impact.
May 14th of same year, 2006.
Jeez.
When it was
Okay.
NWA, TNA, brother.
Yeah.
No, way
Oh, got
after.
it. So
Wasn't it?
So how long? How long
He had
was
the
he
he
in-
shame match
we're-
with Booker
the
T in
E?
01.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're skipping a lot of time. We went from 01 to 06.
Jesus.
And now after years of drug abuse, Bagwell reached out to DDP and has been clean and sober. It should be
That's
noted that he had a stretch of sobriety, but the 2020 car accident caused him to relapse. And that's kind of where we are. We're only 3 years past that. There's probably not much on Bagwell now. I have to tell you, man, I know we're laughing about it, but I think we're laughing because we're so uncomfortable with the fact that if anybody else had gone through that, how do you not relapse? How do you not struggle with your identity, who you are, when you're kind of like that? I'm this guy, and then you go to I'm on a feeding tube, I'm on this, and I think we laugh because it's uncomfortable. And with Bagwell, I don't know how you don't relapse when in this moment, like you're trying to get better, you're prescribed medication, the medication caused you to have another accident, you have another step back. I'm not sure. I hear that he's doing okay now, but you don't really know, right?
And I think that's a common tale. Like Luger
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
same way when Luger was dating
Luger.
Elizabeth, and like he would get
I gotta
DUI
believe
after
that.
DUI, and then Liz ended up dying, and it's like it's the same tale over and over and over again about wrestlers that
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because they get past their prime or it's just the injuries mount up. I think it's both, right? Like you get older and then you're not featured as much, and then at the same time, but you're already hooked on pills. So when you're going from town to town to town, it's almost like common. Back then, I'm not saying now.
All you have
back
to do
then
is
it was
listen
almost
to
common.
just listen to the Kurt Angle.
And you had a lot of
story.
other your colleagues
hear
that did
why.
that. You would talk about injuries. Oh, you pop those too? Yeah, I pop those too. But then after you don't get signed back to your big company that you're with or whatever, you get relegated to indies. or
If you
whatever
get away with
do,
driving high
then
a
you're just like,
1,000
I'm stuck with
times
this
and only
fucking
get caught
pill
once, you're
addiction.
gonna
Yeah.
keep
And then
doing
that's
it.
all I'm
And
doing.
he so his
And
odds
then,
are
yeah,
still
then
pretty
you
good.
start-
He had a couple car accidents, but was probably still
Right.
high for a lot of those. Like they think they're invincible. They really do. Like at some point, all of them. Like it's terrible.
And they're living that life.
Well, and nowadays it's like it's so funny. It's like nobody admits anything, and then when like they all start like lessening their schedules and paying them for downtime guarantees, higher and higher guarantee contracts, And then now they're only wrestling like 150 times a year. I'm like, gee, I wonder why you did that. No reason. No reason. Really? Like, it's because your people were dying. Like, now you have these fucking people like AJ Styles and all of them are in their 40s, like easily. Chris Jericho in his 50s, like, and everything. And like, because they got to, I mean, Jericho was kind of part of the crew that wrestled many times or whatever. So he's kind of like a lucky guy. But he's gone through like weight fluctuations. And
Well,
stuff like
also his back was destroyed. He says DDP saved his career and his life as well.
Yeah, they all had to do that. But then after that, like nowadays, like they don't wrestle that much. And I don't mean that to disrespect them or anything like that. But I mean, back even here in the Monday Night Wars and all that stuff, like they wrestle all the time. Like, yeah, they were fucking each other up all the time
on a hard ring,
and they were going back. They had shit meals that they could get at midnight, and then they were popping pills and drinking beer or liquor. Yeah, and then heading to the next town, and they had to be there or they didn't get paid or whatever. Like, they just introduced
sometimes just 2 towns same day. They would do 2 shows a day.
Especially the 70s and 80s and shit. Like it was really bad, So it's like, it's so funny. Every time I listen to any of Conrad's podcasts, it's so funny. He's like, dude, I'm going to say this. Like, Hulk Hogan stepped in the ring at 52 years old. He's like, Chris Jericho's like in his 50s. And like, he's still getting out there. I mean, he's lost a step. He's older, but like, he's still getting in there with like young guys. Hulk Hogan at 50 was a fucking wreck. Like, he could barely walk. He couldn't drop a leg anymore. Like, he had hip surgery. He had knee surgeries. He had back surgery. It's because they didn't know how to take care of their bodies back then. They knew what to do when they were like, juicing up and all that stuff. But then afterwards, like they didn't know like how to eat right. They were eating just shit food and, like it's just, and drinking beer and hanging out. And nowadays it's like all the wrestlers like, well, we only wrestle like 100 days a year. So they make tons of money off appearances and commercials and sponsors.
I mean, just imagine if Hogan had gone through what Bagwell had gone through with these accidents.
In other words, they're not hurting now. Like when they get home, they're like, oh, I'm a little sore, but like, and again, not to disrespect what they do at all, because they're fantastic, athletes, in my opinion. But like, they don't have to do this.
They're not doing it over 300 days a year.
Right.
I'd rather be that way so they don't get addicted to pills.
That makes a massive difference, right? And then you don't want to turn to the pills or the alcohol because you don't need to, because you're not hurting. You're not, as Cuz takes a big drink. You don't need that stuff. I'm like, Cuz, put it down. You don't need that stuff. Like, and a lot of these wrestlers they had these addictions were fucking hurting. And like they were never home with their families, and they were never, so it's like it's emotional, it's physical, and then when you're hurting all the time, everybody knows when you're in pain a lot, your attitude gets worse, your judgment gets worse, like, and you start making these bad calls. So Bagwell was an unfortunate victim of that, and thank goodness for DDP, who knows what wrestlers go through, so he can recruit them like Hall and Jake and DDP and all that stuff, and be like, dude, let me help. I know what you go through. I was you, like. Not that DDP never drank or anything, but he saw that environment. DDP saw like, you guys needed help. You need help. We were beaten up. Like we were worked way too hard. And you guys only had, what were you going to turn to? What will help me tonight? Oh, this liquor will, or this pill will.
I was laughing before because he's a bit of a punchline, because of everything we heard about Bagwell.
Yeah.
Judy Bagwell calling the office and complaining about him. Why isn't my son booked or whatever, like, and the injuries and stuff, and him being a bit of a clown. And you hear some of like the shoot videos about his attitude backstage, like, but I think the good part is like, he was one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time, and he meshed with everybody, and it was unrealized potential. Like, what a missed opportunity. He took the contract. He took a shot unfair with Booker T, that like, that Monday night match, and he didn't have a chance. But like, a lot of bad decisions. I mean, whatever. Tale as old as time. All the wrestlers, like, he just kind of like got caught with it. Like, but man, he was a worker and a talent. Had the body, had the mic. He was great. Like,
I remember Bagwell from the early '90s and everything, and like even from Global. But I mean, like when he first came into WCW, he was just Marcus Alexander Bagwell, which is the dumbest name to give somebody. Like, it's crazy. Like,
it's his given name
for a couple years. He's his given name. And so, and then he kind of found the thing with Too Cold Scorpio. And then we're like, oh, Bagwell's kind of good. We really saw Bagwell, yes, Global was an independent, but like after that, he was in WCW the entire time for the rest of his career. To see someone kind of grow up, it's almost like now, because everything's either on a phone, recorded on a phone, or streamed, or it's hard to see any wrestlers nowadays like cut their teeth in private. in front of just 50 people. Nowadays everything's recorded or whatever.
Great point.
Bagwell, in a weird way, we saw him sort of grow up, like in the early.
Oh my
90s,
God, I
when
can
we
see that
first saw him
photo
in
in PWI.
WCW. We saw him as like he was like rookie of the year. Remember, like they crowned him rookie of the year and all that stuff in WCW. Yes, and so like it was a whole thing, and so we saw Bagwell grow up and just start tag wrestling, and then create the Buff character, which was really fun and creative. And like Bagwell's fun and entertaining. Like I don't like really like he had a really good career. It sucks, and I hope he stays clean. And I really do for his sake, because nobody wants to go out like that or end their life like that. But he's a lot to be proud of. Like he really does. Like he was in there a long time with a lot of fucking stars.
And I just want to apologize to all the people out there.
Yep. Yeah.
We'll see.
That's going to be on our Daily Motion channel. I'm just kidding.